Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Protecting the Golden Years, Essential Long-Term Care Planning with Don Erickson. This is Jordan, the Marketing Coordinator here at AIM. Today's webinar will be recorded and then later posted on our website. This does mean that all attendees will be automatically muted so that we get a quality recording. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box and we'll try to answer them throughout the presentation. But if we're unable to get to all the questions, we'll have a member of our marketing team reach out to you individually to make sure you get that answered. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join us for next week's webinar on Tuesday, October 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Regional Marketing Director Derek Lape will teach the fundamental strategies for marketing insurance effectively, including key techniques for reaching your target audience, enhancing your brand presence, and driving growth in a competitive industry. And with that, I'll hand it over to Don so that we can go ahead and get started. Take it away, Don.
Thank you, Jordan, and good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us this morning during this busy time of year. Topic of the day, protecting the long-term care or the golden years, essential long-term care and planning for it. There are way too many seniors clients just not prepared when it comes to this and regarding long-term care. So I'm going to take a dive into not only talking about preparing, planning, and caring, but also about personal things that are actually happening in my world with my wife and her family and their mother. So we're going to go over that also. So that's kind of the stuff we're going to go through. Today's agenda, we're going to be going the journey of aging and the family conversations, senior services, accessing the needs of seniors, the ADLs, activities of daily living, staying at home, local and long distance caregiving. There can be many different ways to do that. Choices of senior care, community support resources, home care services, alternative housing options, long-term care planning ahead, and really who pays for services. Today we're going over preparing for long-term care, as getting older isn't easy, and taking this very serious. Have the conversations, talking about it, bringing it out to where we know what's going on with family and seniors. Notice the signs of aging. That's a big thing when you're talking about ADLs. Being able to stay at home. Staying at home is what really everyone wants to do, and sometimes that's not possible. So we want to make sure we know that the hard choices that have to be made when that is, it's like memory care, or if they need more care, assisted living, just all different kinds of facilities that we can use and have available, and how we actually pay for those. The journey, and how does one think of aging later in life? This can be very overwhelming and daunting. Like I said, we are actually dealing with this firsthand with my mother-in-law. She was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's last October. And since then, my wife has actually been known as more of the caretaker, not more of a daughter. We've all kind of seen this kind of things. It goes off and on, and I'll talk more about it as we go through this. But knowing that her mom texts her or calls her, I would say every 10, 15, 20 minutes, and not even remembering conversations they're actually on the phone with. So we'll get into more of that. Having conversations with parents and seniors to use services. Talking about care and services is so important. You can be blindsided by many different things that seniors will go through. Knowing this firsthand, I've seen this. Then there's aging and the acceptance of age. Accepting that they need care, seniors need care as they age and can't do everything by themselves is very hard to accept. Knowing that, we want to make sure you guys know that we have the plans that can cover these kind of things. And then see if the goal for your senior is to maintain their independence for as long as possible, and if there is their preference to stay at home. Independence is a very hard thing for some people to give up. There will be that time that does come when it is out of their hands, and the family may have to make the decisions for them. So there's the conversation or conversations, you would say. Big key factors, like are on this page: paying attention to habits, passions, and strengths, looking for signs of things that may kind of be slipping a little bit, or just their passions of what can help them stay at home. Be very sensitive. Say this, I know this firsthand, that when my wife talks to her mom, and I'll reference this a lot during this webinar, being sensitive when she's talking to her mom and she knows she's right, but her mom just with the memory loss and not even remembering that she called my wife is a big thing. So they both think they're right. My wife is 100% right, but in working with a senior that is losing or short term or having memory issues, and they can get very sensitive, I'll say that, or excited when you're working with them and talking to them, even thinking that they're right, they're doing this, that it's what they know, what they think is happening, is not always the case. But being very sensitive is a key thing when you're working with seniors as they age. Listen to the seniors' needs and wants. It may not be always possible that they want to stay at home, or if they want to go somewhere, but it's not possible just because of the fact that they're not supposed to be driving. Different things in that conversation. So you want to make sure you're talking to them, letting them know, and you're open with them, saying, this is really what's going to happen. But then you're going back to the same thing, being sensitive, um, being supportive and patient. Another key. You're supporting them. You're being patient with them, helping them work through what is going on. They won't always remember. So then you're talking about doctors and doctor visits. These are key things that when you're going into a office, and I've been told multiple times from my wife or brother and sister, when they go to the doctor with their mom or a parent or a senior, anyone really in general, that they've gone into the doctor with them. They tell the doctor what's going on, and the parent or loved one, the senior, is saying, "No, this is not happening. I'm not seeing this, hallucinations, or they think they can care for themselves. They're not losing weight, but they actually are, um, remembering appointments." But it gets to a point where they can be very aggressive, saying that they don't have these symptoms when the doctor knows, the family knows. But for the senior, they can get to the point where they can get aggressive. Let's just say that, saying that they're denying all this stuff. So there is a denial that you got to get through. But having the family all on the same page, knowing what the doctor's recommending, knowing the care that they need, and being supportive. It all works together in the conversation that you make sure you have with the family, so everyone knows what's going on. Um, and then you never want to be pushy or forceful. It doesn't work. It doesn't help. So you really want to help the senior or parent, believe what they're seeing and knowing, and making it work, so where it makes them feel they're is still in control and independent. Be creative. It's the same kind of thing. Working around the situation, trying to help them as best you can. Knowing the family has control of if there's medications, the necessary arrangements. So making sure the medications are taken. Um, and then also a big thing in conversations, making sure that the senior is always active. They're doing something, just not sitting around. That's a really fast downfall for things that are not good. So keeping them active is another great thing to have. But overall, in general, when you're talking about conversations, there's a lot to know about it. The sensitivity, the creativeness, the doctors, making sure everyone is on the same page. It's just kind of the key in everything we want to work with. There's many senior services that are available. There's community services. There's, like in town, there's a Harmon Center. There's different facilities that seniors can actually go through during the day and do activities, crafts. They have theaters that they can go to, many things that can help the seniors be active in the community, for aging and being able to do stuff still, keeping them active. Housing, transportation, there's seniors, there's people for people. There's many different ways for seniors to get from places to places. We all know that, but in talking with seniors, letting them know that these things are available. Financial is a huge thing. You want to make sure that the financial well-being is in order. Aging in place, homes improvements, another thing that need to be looked at. So as they age, if they need things in the household, they can be done. Counseling, big thing with person that we're dealing with, again, loneliness or depression. She is a widow, lives by herself, has a couple animals, but that you can tell that she is lonely. She's by herself, so the family, anyone's family, make sure you have someone there or calls and talks to them, goes and visits. There can be depression stuff, so that's a big thing to look and watch out for and just try to prevent from happening. It can be a big thing. So these are all different services that can help seniors as they age. Needs of seniors. Great key points when you're working with them. It's knowing who you're working with. We work with them every day when talking about long-term care. There's many different things. So on this page, you can look from, the independent living, using telephone. These are simple things that can be very difficult. Using telephone, light housework, heavy cleaning, cleaning, that kind of stuff, preparing meals. Just knowing firsthand on this also that losing weight and them forgetting or just not eating because they're by themselves or they think they've eaten, shopping for groceries, small errands, bills, bookkeeping, driving. That's that's another one that you got to get to actually get to the point where when you take the keys away from someone, and being sensitive and knowing that this is going to be a hard decision, that when it does come, that how are they going to react, what's it going to be like. It's one of those things that we'll get to. Scheduling stuff, I mean, it's a daily thing. And then you have the personal care, for the ADLs, there's bathing, showering, personal care, dressing, eating, getting out of bed, or a chair, using the bathroom, walking. There's a lot of different things. There's cognitive. Can the senior really be left alone safely? These needs get overwhelming. Simple phone calls, text, meals, shopping. Everything on this page says a lot for the needs of seniors as they age. Working as a team with your family or friends or support is the most important thing you can do. As I see on a daily basis with my wife and her brother and sister helping their mom, they all have jobs, and working with them, trying to schedule. Okay, you can do this time. You can do this at this time. Just knowing how stressful that can be on the family, but knowing that someone wants to stay at home as long as they can, but knowing when to make that change or jump from staying at home to going somewhere else is a very large deal. So just like I was saying, staying at home. Staying at home is in a familiar place, close to networks, nearby family, friends, neighbors, community is number one. Wide range of services can help seniors maintain their independence. Seniors are often more comfortable when they know where they are, who they've been around. It's just more comfortable for them. They're often more private or than senior living facilities. So staying at home is a number one thing. People, that's really what they want to do, but there comes a point when that's really not an actual thing when it comes to independence and caring for themselves. It all depends on transportation. If it's easy, accessible, including alternative and driving. Driving is a big thing. We're working on trying to say, when are we going to take the keys? I hear this conversation between my wife and her brother many times, just saying, okay, when can we do this? And they've got to the point, and it's kind of comical, but it's not. It's like, okay, when she goes to bed, okay, Matt, you go take the car and take it home, and then we'll just tell her the car's gone. Somebody took it. But you can't do that because she's going to call the police, that kind of thing. Or you tell them, it's going to be serviced, or you just have to come to the point where you just say, Mom, um, it's now time to where we take the keys because it's not safe for you. But there is a better way to do that. I've heard many people, as I talk to agents over and over, that when you're dealing with a senior and keeping it out of the hands of the family, so the loved one doesn't get aggressive or say, don't let your sister do this to me, don't let your brother do this to me, is actually have the doctor, if it's something that they need to go in a facility or they need to have someone come in to help, like a daily nurse or someone for custodial, just to come in and help. When they go to the doctor's appointment, talk to the doctor before. Say, hey, can you let us know and tell mom or whoever your significant person is, that it's come to this point to where they need more care. They need to go into like an assisted living or a community living facility. So it takes the pressure and the stress off the family to say, Mom, we're putting you here, or you're going to have to go here, to where it goes to a third party and it says, okay, Mom, the doctor says this is what we need to do now. So it lets them know that, it's not coming from the daughter or the son or a significant other that, you have to go here. It's out of their hands, so the stress is away from them, and then the parent can realize that, oh, it is time. The doctor says I need to do this. There's many ways to do that, but trying to keep it away from the family to really say, okay, Mom, Dad, you have to go into a facility, keeping that stress away from that and having a third party like a doctor or someone in that nature help them to see that that's the direction they need to go. And if staying at home, there's modifications that people can do. We know that home repairs or modifications making the place safer and easier for the senior. Start with the assessment and then consider, do they need a wheelchair ramp? That kind of, do they need a ramp to where they're not going to trip on stairs? Bathroom may need to be remodeled a little bit. Shower maybe to where they can sit. Lighting to make it easier. Handles around the house for, them to get around. Widening hallways and doorways. We've actually done this. First floor living. So if they have stairs, there will be modifications they'll need to do for living at home, so there's no falls, that kind of thing. And then also have an emergency response system. That is huge. So if there is a fall, if no one's there, that someone can help. Caregiving, understanding your family's strengths and weaknesses regarding the senior care. That's a huge thing. There's caregiving statistics. There's unpaid caregiving statistics. You can have a family member that's unpaid, but there may be a niece or a nephew or someone that can come in and do some care for the loved one that you're trying to help with. Um, Many children just don't live near their elders. That's a big thing, and trying to make sure that there's care for them all the time. You got to make sure of that. Advanced planning, scheduling, that's always the big thing. You want to make sure that you have everything in order, that they know what's going on for each day through the week. Um, know when to step in. This is not easy. We've been through it over and over. When do you do these things? When do you take a car? When do you say, Dad, this is the time. Okay, so we need to move you now. You can't do this by yourself. You're losing weight. You've been to the doctor. They see you're losing weight over a couple weeks or a month. You're losing more and more weight. You're not eating. You just don't remember to eat. So knowing when to step in and help with certain things like that, you need to know. Emergencies, you got to have a plan for that. Trips to the doctor, that is key. Making sure that all your doctor's visits are on schedules, and the family knows, okay, Mom or Dad needs to go to this, who's taking them. Um, Family takes vacations and stuff. The caregiver stress, this is a real thing. 3 weeks ago, I took a week and took the family, um, my wife and kids and grandkids, to the beach, and Wendy had to go and say, okay, Matt, Tracy, and Brandy, we're out of town. Make sure, we have this all put together. So it's a huge schedule, making sure that they're aware that we're out of town, not available. But mom needs to be taken care of, or dad needs to be taken care of. In doing that, I'll tell you, um, my wife was definitely, her mom is always wanting her to be there, knowing that Wendy takes care of everything for her. So while she was at the beach, there was calls, you know, throughout the day, all day long, texts, and so she would have to call her brother, say, "Hey, can you go take care of mom for this, or dad?" So that's a real thing, and making sure that who's giving the most care, they get their downtime to recharge their battery. That is a huge thing to make sure that, because you can wear down very fast on a daily routine. Not just with someone like that, but we have friends that, um, the wife had a fall, got, had needed care, had to go into a nursing facility, didn't have long-term care, so they went through a lot of their private funds, and had to go into a facility. She was in the hospital for over 100 days, um, trying to get better from that fall. Had a stroke at the same time, then got a flu. They said it was COVID, but it was a flu. Then she got pneumonia, so then she had to go into a facility. She was very weak and had to work through this. Still trying to get her strength back, but just like that, that's for my buddy that we have known forever. He would drive to Seattle, leave on Monday morning, get there Monday, be all week, and then come back on Saturday and Sunday, do the stuff here, and then go back every week, for like 6 months. He was there, and he stayed in a Airbnb there for almost 6 months for the whole week, and then come back home for the weekend just to take care of stuff here. So it's a very big stress, and just for him to get a little break to come back and recharge the battery on the weekends is a huge thing. But like I said, it there's a lot of things when you're being a caregiver, or knowing what stuff you have to do to work with seniors. Timing for caregiving. Some really some concerns that include, preventing falls, driving, knowing when to take this away from seniors for their safety. Maybe they think they can still do it daily basis. They don't even think about it. They just go out and do it, but they can get lost, have an accident. But driving, it's a huge thing, and knowing when to take this away can be very um, sensitive. Let's say that. Eating on a regular basis, making sure that someone has the right nourishment every day. So just knowing that what is going on, and they forget to eat, they just don't know. So you got to make sure that this is taken care of. Depression, like I said, depression and isolation of the elderly. It's a huge thing as people age. That you don't want them to be alone. You want them to make sure they're active at facilities, wherever they are, care, senior centers, that kind of stuff. Remembering medications, another big thing. After hospitalization, the care. Um, who's going to take care of them if they have a fall? They're going to need day in and day out care. So timing is a very large thing when you're talking about preparing for long-term care. So then you have services or resources, home care and community services. Senior centers are huge. Transportation to those services. There's lots of programs that help seniors get to places. Meal delivery programs. We've actually tried this, and let's just say it's not a thing that was taken very well or very lightly. Grocery delivery, cleaning services, just to have someone go in and clean for them, maybe once or twice a week, just to make sure everything is taken care of for them. Errands, running them around, doing different things. Home maintenance, if there's things, adult daycares. Everything here are key factors on a daily routine. I mean, plain and simple, making sure that everybody knows things that are available to them. Home care services, again, making homemakers, companions. Companions is probably one of the biggest things for a senior, having someone there to talk to associate with, just so they're not alone. That's a huge thing. Home health care aid, bringing people in to help, personal care, certified nurses if they need something, registered nurse if they need more care, physical therapists. These can be a weekly thing, a daily thing, but these are all services that are available when you're staying at home. So different levels of services, knowing what level of care is very important. The knowledge is key to helping seniors when choosing where they should be, from at home to possibly some type of facility from, um, and on the next slide we'll talk about that too, but custodial care, if it's something that's just on daily needs, they don't need ADLs. Companion care is a big thing. That's one of the biggest things that I see firsthand with seniors is that companionship, errands, doing things for them, just being there for them. Skilled care, if they need more care, or acute is also another one. Then there's housing. There's different types of options. Adult daycare facilities, residential assisted living, nursing homes. They're all different kinds of, depending on what needs really seniors need. There's an option for all of them. Knowing when these times come when you have to actually put them into or take them to a facility to have them live there going forward can be a tough decision. Knowing firsthand what's going on with mother-in-law, that she flat out is refusing to wanting to go somewhere. She wants to stay at home. But we know the memory care facility is where she is going to be going to in time. It's just when she realizes it's going to almost be too late for when she's like, what's happening. So when we've talked to personally, we go out to and have visited different facilities, from a memory care facility to assisted living, and they're saying, well, when do you put mom into these kind of homes? What it takes to be accepted into one. Placed in assisted living or nursing home can be a big factor, and can help actually improve their health, by when she does go into, she's going to have 3 meals a day. I know she does not eat 3 meals a day, but just that alone will help her a ton. Being around people all the time, that's going to improve her, just for how she feels. Um, but choosing the best way, what kind of lifestyle does a senior want? Well, there's that. But then how much, the biggest thing when it comes down to is how much will the housing options cost? That's a huge thing. I mean, it's just what it is, and a lot of people can't afford it, so they kind of get placed where they can afford to be, from the government basically helping out, coming in, and then the spend down. Preparation for long-term care. The best way to prevent a crisis is to plan for it. Plan for the need before the care transition happens. The healthcare is the biggest thing, but knowing healthcare wills, power of attorney, you want to make sure those are in place before, like with the situation, if the memory thing's not there, that they need to be capable to sign that. If there's trust involved, advance directives, estate planning, uh, all the daily stuff with paying and knowing what's going to go on in the future, making sure everybody's fully aware of what's going to go on. So then there's the paying for long-term care services. Okay, that's I want to make sure that everyone knows that we have options for protecting and paying for when the time comes for seniors when they need it. Um, there's ways to pay for it. Private pay is the way we're going to be going. We've talked to a facility here in town, and they said yes, they will accept her. And then once the house is sold, then we can get the services they've already provided, and then go forward. Some say, no, you have to pay in advance before the people can come in. You have to pay for so much in advance. So that could be a very serious issue. So there was a couple places we did like, but are not available at the time until she goes into a facility that can help, and we can pay after the fact of selling the house. Private pay is a huge thing. People do that, but it's expensive. We know that firsthand. Long-term care insurance is probably one of the best ways to take care of it, or hybrid, extended care. Ancillary products can do the same thing. There's a short-term product. It is not available in Washington for short-term home health care at this time, as other states do have it available. Critical cash is a big option, IULs, etc. But for paying for services, being prepared is the biggest thing. Planning for long-term care, being prepared and helping the clients, if you have clients that are already with long-term care, preparing their adult children, letting them know, hey, your mom and dad have this, you want to make sure you're prepared the same. So paying for long-term care is a very big deal. So the carriers we do have to take care of this, options we have for long-term care, there's Mutual of Omaha, National Guardian Life, Thrivent, Hybrids, we have One America, we actually have Nationwide and some others. And then you have some ancillary products that do help also with caregiving needs, as in Aetna, Life Secure, Manhattan Life, GTL, Cigna, Wellaby, and we do have other carriers too. But these carriers can help when you're looking to help with long-term care and other products. Biggest thing to start with is contracting and certifications, making sure that you're in good order to sell long-term care or ancillary products, knowing that you'll need to have your E&O coverage, your long-term care CEs, and also anti-money laundering, or AML as they know. And if you're doing like a life hybrid, you'll need to have that training also. So being in good order, getting your contracting in if you want to write these products, making sure you have everything in good order. With that, I want to tell everyone thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you being here. We will reach out later today or tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can also give us a call anytime, 800-672-7202. Again, thank you again for joining me today. Talk to you soon.